Hello everybody and welcome once again to The Long Run, our official podcast live stream from the FORDY Runs running community. Thanks ever so much for joining us again, and now our regular time, 7 o'clock on a Friday. Episode 6, we're still going, they've still kept us going, we've not been closed down yet. Busy night tonight, lots going on. I'm joined by the founder of FORDY Runs running community, Chris Ford. His corporate hat, he's in. Producer Toby's in. He's going to keep us all on the straight and narrow. Al's back after his brilliant soiree to the Tom Jones concert last week. We'll be talking about that. And we've got a special guest. We have FORDY Runs volunteering guru, Paula Frost, who's here to have a chat about her involvement in the community and things that are been going on off the road. It's a big volunteering week and a big running week this week because it's the London Landmarks Half Marathon, which I'll be running, Chris is running, and no doubt quite a few of you will be doing as well. So once again, thanks ever so much for joining us. You can file your questions to us in the normal way via Facebook, but please log into the feed and then we can give you a name check. So please feel free to contribute whenever you like. And Chris, how's your week been there, mate?
Yeah, busy as always. Super excited about this weekend, actually. Weekend starts here, people. Friday, 7 o'clock weekend starts. But yeah, I'm really excited about this weekend with London Landmarks. Bit of park run tomorrow, hopefully, if I get up and I don't lay in.
Yeah, because Gunpowder's back, isn't it? Your local one.
Yeah, exactly. Gunpowder is back this week, so I'm trying to get over there tomorrow if I can. And then, then Landmarks on Sunday. So I'm super excited about that. Lots going on as always. Busy week. But yeah, I'm really excited, really, to have Paula on, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we love getting it. We love our guests. It's the best bit, isn't it? You don't want to hear about us. You know, you want to talk to people who might be actually able to say something a bit interesting. Talking to a person who's interesting, Al's back. Did you miss us last week, mate?
No.
He's going to miss us this week by the sound of it.
He's going to miss us. Bless him. And he's made a special effort as well with his Landmarks. If you're not watching, if you're listening to this on the podcast, Alan's worn his London Landmarks yellow T-shirt today, which I think is interfering with his Wi-Fi, which is why we can't hear him.
I think what's interfering with it is his mute button.
Oh, he's got his mute button.
I think he's not concentrating.
Oh, maybe.
But there you go. I was going to pull him up actually because I saw, Chris, you put up a post asking people about what their favourite record was, favourite tune was to cross the finish line.
Yeah.
And Al produced "Dance with Me Tonight" by Ollie Murs.
I know.
What's all that about?
Well, I think it's probably because he's trying to get hip and down with the kids. You know, when you get to Al's age, you try and like sort of recreate your youth and all that kind of stuff. Apparently, Ollie Murs is performing tonight.
Yeah, he's at Newmarket. He's gone the wrong week.
See, apparently. But yeah, no, I think Alan was trying to reconnect with the youth.
Well, he wants to try and reconnect with us first. That'd be a touch, wouldn't it?
Bless him. He's had a busy old week, poor Al. Leave him alone. We can't hear you, Al. So
can't hear you.
We're just going to look at you all night, which is actually quite nice.
Okay then. So yeah, what we're going to do tonight then, mate? Now with big news is that we've now got an email account.
Oh yeah, this could be dangerous. This could be dangerous, people. We've created an email address because we thought what would be kind of cool is that if you have a chance, send us in some comments, questions, basically because we haven't got enough content of our own. We thought that
we can't make anything up.
So yeah, if you fancy email us, we've already had some emails coming. So thank you very much to everybody who's already emailed in, and we will get round to all the emails. And we really do appreciate it. But yeah, if you've got something you want to talk about, you want to come on the show, anything really running related, maybe not even running related.
Anything,
We'll have a
talk
look
about
and we'll
anything.
try and get you on.
Yeah, now we had a crack at the first one, didn't we?
Yeah, the cracker. Yeah. Where is it? Hang on, I'm going to get it up. I'm going to get it on my phone because it's probably easier. Because I don't know about the technology in terms of me reading it. And
talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
Yeah,
folks.
right. Okay, here we go. This is from Mark Jones. Stand by, people. Lovely Mark Jones. This was our first email. We really appreciate this. We might even get this framed because this could go down in the long run show history.
We'll put it, we'll sell it at Christie's for thousands.
Right, here we go. Hi, guys. I always listen to your show at the start of my long run. Box tick. So somebody's listening to us while they go off and do their long run. So thank you very much, Mark. At least one of you's listening. Question is, I've been running about 3 years, did London Virtual Marathon, well done, and in training for this year. I lost a few toenails. Why? A few toenails last year, went black on my last run before the marathon. And I went out on Sunday, did my first half since last year, and the other big toe is gone. So he's a bit concerned why he keeps losing toenails and why they go black. He's got his gait done, and he's got shoes that, not even going 100 miles. And all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So he also had a go at Toby, which I actually was the main reason why I'm reading this email. By the way, tell Toby us Northerners do behave when we go down south. So Toby,
this was a bit harsh, actually. In fairness to Toby, this was me.
Yeah, Toby's upset all the Northerners. So anybody living north of, what should we say, Northampton?
Watford Gap is always the north point.
If you want to have a go at Toby, his number is 07876 272 341. Give him a call and give him a hard time. But yeah, so people, let's start with Paula. Paula, have you got any experience of toenails falling off? Can you help or advise Mark Jones on what to do about his toenails?
I've only had it twice. One went black, one did come off. And on both occasions, my solution was nail varnish. So when it's black, just paint it. And when you lose it, just paint the skin. Nobody knows.
Top tip.
Disguise. Yeah, mine are horrendous. I know why I did. My toes are awful. And I know why. Because when I started running, because I didn't think, I know what, I'm going to start running. I'll get on YouTube and I'll watch a few of FORDY's videos and then I'll know all about it. I didn't do that as well. I just dived in head first, went straight to the shop, thought, I'm a size 10. That'll do. I'll stick them on. I'll run in a pair of white cotton socks and a pair of sort of size 10 shoes instead of a pair of 10.5s and 11s. My toes got crushed in training for my first half marathon and they've never been the same since. But I do take it as a bit of a badge of honour.
Yeah, it's a funny one. The amount of posts that you see about people posting about their toenails and pictures of them, because we all want to see the pictures of your toenails hanging off. But, everyone's totally entitled to post up pictures of their toenails and black things. But really, I've got no advice apart from the only other thing I would say, and it is a top tip for marathoners and marathon trainers and half marathon, is this is gross, by the way, that we're talking about this, is to keep your toenails cut all the time. Mine, I'm constantly cutting them. I don't let them get a hair width longer than they need to be, and I keep on top of them. And because it is one thing that can drive you nuts. No, I've never lost any of my toenails, and maybe that is because I'm constantly cutting them. And guys, can I just say, I still can't believe that the top of the show is 7:10 and we're already talking about toenails.
Well, it's a good job nobody's having their tea, isn't it?
It's a bit like nobody's watching or listening, really. So that's the other positive as well. So, no, I think that's the only bit of advice I can give on toenails is, and it was a tip I was given years ago, is to keep my toenails short because
I have heard it can be to do with your feet though, because apparently some people's just the shape of their feet when they run, it just automatically hits the top of your shoe. So it's, for some people, I think it's just part and parcel of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, look,
I'd like to think I'm not to blame for my predicament at all.
I don't think it's
just some sort of freak of nature, really.
Look for a shoe with now this is going to sound silly, with a high toe box, because I'll give you an example. The Nike Pegasus 38 has a higher toe box than 37. The 37 was narrow. So what they did was they also increased, when they increased this year's shoe, they increased the width, but they also increased the height. Now that can be something, because some shoes, some shoes have a flat, quite a flat toe box. See the height of the toe box? But other shoes,
no, I'm on my long run. I can't see it.
Other shoes have a high toe box. Do you see the difference in the height in the toe boxes?
Yeah, if you're out running and you can't actually see the pictures, Chris has got a black trainer and a red trainer.
Yeah, I've got
and one of them is quite.
Yeah, A6 Dynablast 2. This is the Saucony Triumph.
Yeah.
I think the new version, wherever they call it.
And the space on the black one is quite pronounced, much bigger. Than the
you
one
can
on
see
the
the
left.
difference, no? It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
So look for a shoe with a high toe box. And actually, talking about looking for shoes, I'm going to plug something. Tomorrow on the channel, on the YouTube channel, there's a really cool video coming out that is I filmed at the A6 store in London, and I wasn't paid to be there, but it's quite an in-depth video. The lady who I saw there is just like a genius. I can't remember her name, but she was incredible, and the detail she goes into about getting your gait analysed, what you should be looking for in terms of pronation, non-pronation, and what you should be looking for in your shoes. I would almost, it's quite a long video. I'd almost like stop it and watch it back because there's so much information in there. But it is a really good video. My camera work, just as a heads up, is terrible because I was filming her, and I was so engrossed with what she was saying that the camera kept slipping. Hashtag production team. I should be like the running channel and have like 3 people come with me and get paid by Garmin. But I'm walking around, I'm just holding my Garmin, and because I'm so engrossed with what this lady was saying, it just starts going like this. But the information that she says is unbelievable. Seriously, what she was telling me about gait analysis, watch the video tomorrow. It is brilliant. Really is good. The woman was a genius. So massive plug there.
So I think we've covered toenails there. I think we've given Mark, was it a good service there on his
thanks, Mark.
Toenail question. Thanks ever so much for your question. Should we'll have a quick chat about landmarks, and then we'll have a chat with Paula, because it's all sort of related a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everybody seems, the whole group, I've not known it for months, be so buzzing as it has been for the last couple of days about the landmarks. Yeah, everyone's charged for it, aren't they?
I think it's a big event. It's a special event, I think, because of the amount of money that it raises for Tommy's charity. I think that's, the big thing we need to, recognise. Well, it is an incredible charity, and the money that they're going to be raising for that. So that's amazing. I think the event for me has a similar vibe. I wouldn't say it's exactly the same, but it's a similar vibe to Great North Run in terms of the atmosphere that it does create, because there's a lot of stuff on course and things like that. And I think the landmarks people over the years have done a fantastic job of building the event to where it is now. And I think because it got obviously canned, and to come back now, and it's the first sort of big half marathon in London, with all the people, all that kind of stuff, I think it's going to be rocking and it's going to be buzzing. There is a lot of us. I would say there's probably a couple of thousand people from the 40 Runs community doing it. I've asked, really, I don't think we should be doing, we do love a meetup, but I think this year, I think it's not in tune with what the organisers are asking for, which is, please everybody turn up when their wave is and do the run. So try and avoid mass meetups and all that kind of stuff. So unfortunately, we won't be having a mass meetup, which I think is the right thing to do this year, based on whatever's going on. But if you are seeing, anybody else from 40 Runs on your way around, make sure you give them a big shout out, and look out for people in your waves and that kind of stuff. But I think it's going to be a great event. I'm really excited. I'm mainly excited, one, because me, Amanda, and Jenny will be on the start line. You and your mates. And two, drop that in. And two, all I want to do is get to see Paula and her team. That's the only reason I'm doing it, is to see Paula and her team. So, Paula, what are you up to then? Your team?
So we're really fortunate. We're actually on the finish line. So when you cross that line, hopefully with big smiles on your face, we'll be there to give you your goodie bags, which will contain your medals and your T-shirts. So, yeah, we get to join in your celebrations at the end, and we can't wait.
So how many of you are going to be there?
We've got about 20 of us going for this one, because we've got quite a big big team going, which is really good. Lots of newbies that have not volunteered with us before, as well as some people that have done other events with us, and some people from back when 40 Runs originally started. So it's a really good mix, and really nice to meet some of the new members. Obviously, people have joined during lockdown and we've not had an opportunity to meet in real life. So really looking forward to seeing all of them.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big thing as well, isn't it, Chris? Everybody's, it's the first time that people are going to see each other, really, apart from on screens like this doing Matt's quizzes.
I'm as I said, I'm so excited. I'm going to lose it when I see everybody. I'm going to lose it. You're all going to hear me every time I see one of you lot out there. I'm going to go nuts, right? I'm just pre-warning you now. I am going to proper lose it. You're going to be able to hear me. It doesn't matter even if you're on wave 7 and I'm 6K down the road and I see one of you, you'll be able to hear me from there. I'm going to go.
To be fair, every time I've seen you at a race or when you've crossed the line, I've been volunteering, I can definitely hear you long before we see you.
You wait. I'm so excited. I'm honestly pumped about seeing you guys at the end. It's 99% of the only reason I'm doing this event is so Alan could put the medal around my neck. It's going to be like a ceremony. It's going to be like Tokyo.
It's going to be, it is going to be good to get back out there. And what sort of, Chris, Paulie, you've run it before as well, haven't you? What sort of, what's in store for people who are coming down to do the race for the first time?
I actually think it's one of my favourites. It's normally and hopefully still will be really, really well supported. One of the things I loved is as you're going around, they've got, because it is the landmarks, there's facts as you go around. So you there's stuff to read. The whole atmosphere, the way people are joining in with each other. It's just a really, really fun event. And the medals are epic. They are pretty special, those medals. So there's lots to look forward to for those that are actually running it.
Yeah, I'm looking for the medals. Like it's a shard, isn't it?
This year it
looks like it's going to be hanging halfway down. I'm sure it'll be great once I've seen it. But lots of people have been very enthusiastic. Yeah, I've seen them. Like they open up on a hinge. I think last year's was the Dome of St Paul's, wasn't it? Last time,
something like that. It was something.
And they've done one with the
London Eye's been one.
That was it.
London Eye,
the wheel. Actually, and another thing as well, because Big Al's wearing it, the t-shirts are pretty decent as well. So that's.
Have we got Al back yet? Are you in now?
No, we've lost him. He's a spectator. I think he's just looking good. He's increasing the sort of how good we look on YouTube at the moment. Just having him on
the
there.
aesthetic element.
But he just looks good.
He always looks good, though, doesn't he? Let's be fair.
Oh, we got to answer Adam Wilcox's question, because he's posted on YouTube. Where is it? Training for London in Cornwall, and due to the hills, it's tough to always hold the pace on the hills. We have a most. What would you advise? Now, Paula, you're a machine. How do you go up those hills and hold your pace?
It depends what I'm doing. If I'm trying to, it depends how I'm training. To be fair. Your heart rate will always go up if you hold your pace, and it will be tough. I was taught at one point to sort of move your arms in a more upward motion because your knees will follow, so that helps and makes it a bit of a smoother run. Big breath at the end and recover, and use the breath to recover once you get to the top. But a lot of it is just digging deep to hold that pace, and just digging deep, or slow it down so you're not dying at the other end, so that you can keep, because there's nothing worse when you get to the top of the hill and you've put so much in that actually the rest of the run falls apart because you've overdone it at that point. So if you have to drop the pace back just a little bit, so that once you go over the brow of that hill, you can pick it back up and really power through. Sometimes losing those few seconds up the hill is worth it to be okay on the other side.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. What you said about driving your arms. I mean, that's one of the biggest things when you're going up the hill is to use your arms to drive you up there to maintain that pace, because they will drive your legs. Also, try not to tilt too far forward. It's the other thing. Try and think about pushing your hips forward and getting your back a bit straighter. That will help you maintain the pace up the hill. But it is about keeping that consistency in your pace up the hill. I think if you can find that rhythm, you know, that we always talk about. Find that rhythm going up the hill. That will make it easier. But yeah, definitely use your arms to drive you up there, because that'll get your legs engaged and it will keep you going up there, traveling.
I'd imagine as well, from a sort of psychological point of view, the fact you're doing the hills, you should take so much out of that it should encourage you that you're working hard and you're getting great benefit from the training that you're doing. So it should help. I'd imagine it should boost your morale and help you push on as well.
But if you've done hill training in Cornwall, once you get onto the flat of London, you'll be flying.
Yeah, that's what I mean. These machines who do all this training on these hill sections and that, they will absolutely be buzzing when they get to a flat course like London. So I hope that answers, Adam. I know we took our time in getting to you, but we got there in the end. Didn't we? Good lad.
So Paula,
people.
Paula, can we talk about sort of like the volunteering, a little bit more detail on that? How did you first get involved in doing this?
Well, this is a bit of a weird one. So it all started back in 2019, and we were all at Big Half having a whale of a time and taking lots of photos and making lots of noise. And we noticed that the volunteers all had bright pink jackets, and in true FORDY style and pink, we decided we wanted a bit of that. So we were trying to work out how we could beg, steal and borrow pink jackets, and basically found out they were given to the volunteers. So we started doing a bit of investigating.
Sorry, we wanted the pink jackets.
We did get some, didn't we? We ended up auctioning them. We managed to find somebody who had some spares. But so I was like, there's got to be a way to do this. So made contact with London Marathon Events, and they said, yeah, not a problem if you'd like to come forward. So I got back in touch with Chris and said, look, they're willing to have us as a volunteer team. Are you happy for me to pursue it, see where I can get? And in true Chris style, it's like, yeah, go for it. And we got a slot for the next race, which they were organising, which was the Vitality 10K. We put out a massive team of volunteers, and we were on the finish line again then. And everybody got pink jackets, and we managed to blag a few spares that, again, we auctioned off for the charity at that point as well. So that's where it all started. Basically, we wanted free stash.
So are there any limits on the number of people who can come along and be in the group?
No, normally the organisers are pretty want us to have as many as we possibly can. They normally set us a minimum number that they'd like us to try and provide, and 9 times out of 10 I'm always going back to them going, we've got more than that, can you increase our team number? They're always willing and happy for us to have more people there. We've never had to turn anybody away so far, which is something that we'd never want to do. We're an inclusive community. We never want to turn people away. And if you, for whatever reason, you're not able to run, whether you're going to have a DNFs, come and join the volunteer team. It's a brilliant way to be involved if you're not running it.
And sometimes there are people.
Sorry, we've got to give a big shout out to the other people that help Paula, because we've got Kate, Mel, and Paula. Just run us through our elite team of volley organisers. Give them a name, big shout out.
Yeah, so you've got the lovely Mel, who most of you will know, knitting queen. She does a number of different events, and then you've got Kate, who's another big member of the community.
Huge.
And she's got quite a few different events that she organises. We just kind of muddling together. We've got a little messenger group, so who's available for this one, who can pick up this race and things like that, and we bounce ideas off each other. We tag people in posts when we know we're looking for volunteers and things. So yeah, we're quite lucky as a community. There's 3 of us that try to cover as many races as we possibly can, so that we can always have people there supporting our runners.
It's amazing. I mean, I remember, was it the Fulham 10K as well? You guys were on the baggage drop there. We basically,
that was a Kate one, wasn't it?
Yeah, we owned the place. I mean, I bowled in there, started giving everyone a hug behind it. Other people going, what's going on? What's this geezer doing? But it was incredible. It really is. I have to say, I think we're amazing and awesome and unique anyway. But to be able to put these sort of teams of volunteers into these races and events is just, giving something back, doing something awesome. I think it absolutely says everything about the people that are in our community and in our club. From all walks of life coming together and just being awesome. I think it's incredible, and I think it says everything about all the people that are involved in 40 runs. That it's just amazing, absolutely amazing.
But we've got organisers reaching out to us now, because originally we were contacting them saying, can we come along? We'd love to be involved. And now we've actually got races coming to us going, can you put a team out? We've heard about you. We've seen you at events. Will you come and volunteer for us? So yeah, we're now being approached, which is a really nice position to be in, and a huge credit to the people that turn up and volunteer. They make noise. They're always smiling. They're always happy, and it's noticed by organisers. So that's why we get to keep going back and keep getting approached.
Jonathan Gregg's my favourite. He's just I love seeing him. He's just quality. There was he's just. I can't wait to see him on Sunday. He's just everything about 40 runs. He's an amazing.
Oh, he literally encompasses it, doesn't he? Bless him.
Yeah, I love him to bits. He was there at the Skyathlon. Just turns up, does his thing. He's so self. But how on the volunteer stuff, Paula? Do you guys, obviously we try and blag as much free stuff as we can. But do they sort you out with like race places, or do they sort you out with like discount to races? How do they help you out?
Yeah, we get a few different things. So some of the events will give you a free place at a future event, which is really good, especially for some of those hard to get events. Vitality, they give a donation to the club, so it helps keep our community going and puts the money back into our community. Some of them it is just for the love and the free jacket and t-shirt and things like that. Generally, you will always get fed. That's normally a given. You get a packed lunch. So there's a whole host of different perks. One of the ones that I've been talking to recently, they are looking at a reward system. So you get basically volunteer credits and you can change them in for certain things. So that's Limelight, but it depends on what races. They do London landmarks, but that one you don't get it for because it's quite a popular event. But some of their lower key events they do volunteer credits for. So not only do you get the heartwarming satisfaction of doing it, seeing all your 40 friends, there is actually some extra free bits and free races in it for you as well.
I remember I couldn't run big half when it was last on, but I was at the start line and all I could see was our crew there. That was brilliant. I was wading through all the 40 runners who were like ready to go running, and then I was wading my way through the volunteers who were getting our runners to the start line, and then I was then shouting and chatting with all our volunteers who were on the start line. It was just amazing. We was just like rocking it out. Total 40 runs takeover at the big half. It was epic, absolutely epic. Oh, Al's back. You all right, Al? No, still. I'll tell you what, the signal at the Old People's Home, we need to get Virgin Media around to the Old People's Home and help them out around there because they're struggling, aren't they? That's
so,
incredible.
Paula, what do you think you get out of it personally in the whole volunteering thing?
I do love giving back. I love racing, but I know when I'm racing and when I'm struggling, what those marshals, what those volunteers, that person that congratulates you when you come across the line and gives you the medal, I know how much that means to me. So I do love being able to do that for somebody else as well, and that part of it. I also love seeing our fellow FORDYs, because you get to the races, you're generally nervous beforehand, or you've queued for the toilet for 3/4 of an hour. So you only have 5 minutes to catch up with everybody, and then you're off and you might run around with people and have a chat. But when you're volunteering, you're with that group for hours, and it's lovely. You build some really good friendships. You get to have a good chat, a gossip, share stories about Chris and some of the weird stuff he's been up to over the years.
Plenty of material there.
Yeah, plenty. So it's the community part of it. It's the seeing everybody. I'm quite a social person. I love a chat. Anybody who knows me or runs with me knows I love a chat. So I just enjoy that bit of it, really.
Yeah, I think again that sums it all up, really. Actually, we've got a question in, Paula, from Lynn. I know the answer already, but how do you volunteer? How if somebody wants to get involved in it? I know, I'll let you answer it, but I kind of know the answer. But yeah, go on.
What we tend to do is put posts out on the Facebook community. Any of the volunteer coordinators will do that with as much detail as we know at that point. So what the race is, the date, rough start times if we know it. But I must admit, as the community is growing bigger, sometimes they get missed because there is just such a huge volume of posts. So what we do try to do is go back and bump them up a bit, and we try to tag people. So if we know you're interested, we try to tag you in those posts as well. So I'm more than happy for anybody to message me or DM me, and we can just try and keep a mental note or might have to start doing a post-it note system so that we can tag you in these posts so that you know when they're coming up. But yeah, normally it's just on the Facebook community. So we will try and tag you if we know it's something you're interested in.
Amazing. Oh, absolutely amazing. Yeah, thanks, Paul. I think that's the keys. I know it's hard because there's so much traffic on the group and stuff. But yeah, if you can, I try and put them in. I mean, Kate and Paula, they all nudge me to pin them to the announcements. So as always, just keep your eye on the announcements. That's the other way of doing it. Just keep your eye on what's going on in the Facebook group on the announcements, really, and then get involved that way. But it's incredible. I mean, right, so I'm exhausted. I'm still shocked, to be honest, about the toenails. Yeah.
Look, it's one of these things that we have to talk about. It happens to everybody, and we shouldn't be shy about these sort of things. We shouldn't be, worried about talking about such issues. So
we've got a lot going, a lot of messages, a lot of questions coming tonight.
Yeah, people are buzzing.
You guys are smashing the hell out of it tonight, which is good to see.
Now, we were going to have a chat, weren't we, Chris, about the cost of races is something that you've been looking at.
Couple of days. You want a couple of days on this one? How long are you allowed to upload to Spotify?
We were going to have a bit of a debate for this because we're doing landmarks this week. It's a big event. It's in the middle of London, and it ain't cheap.
No. It's right. Hang on, hold tight, because I did, as always, I'm well prepared. I put a thing up on the YouTube channel as well as in the group about the cost of races, right? I did a couple of polls this week to find out. And the consensus is effectively people are thinking along the same lines as me that they're too expensive, right? And there's, other kind of things like the ballots are no good and all this sort of stuff. But the issue I have, I mean, I would put landmarks aside, and I'll tell you why I put landmarks aside, because maybe again, people, please put in your own views on this. Landmarks, that money's going to charity, right? So I reckon, and I've got absolutely no idea on this, so I'm basing this purely on everything that I'm picking out the sky. But I reckon out of your, what is it, 70 odd quid to do it? We got some numbers, haven't we?
60 quid I paid.
Yeah. So, but I reckon out of that, 50% of that is probably going towards the charity. So by the time they've paid probably £1 million to close most of London off in terms of road closures and all that insurance and things like that, you're probably talking half of what that ticket is actually going to the charity. So for me, I don't have a problem with that, right? If a charity is directly benefiting from the ticket, and especially COVID and all that sort of stuff. I think some races are absolutely taking the mickey in what they're charging. Royal Parks, all right, that's a charity, but I think that's taking the mickey. It's a great event, really is a fantastic event. But they know that they're gonna, because it's a ballot, they're gonna rinse you for that. I think it's a liberty what they're charging. I think ASIC's 10K, all those ASICs events, and I love the guys at ASIC, but it's actually, I think it's a Limelight jobby now, isn't it, Paul? I think ASICs. But Limelight, who took over from Virgin, they're taking the mickey in terms of what it costs. If you look at people, all right, they've got different cost base, right? And they're shutting off London, which again, road closures in London's a lot of money. But road closures anywhere cost money, not just focusing on the London events. But what they're charging or trying to put onto us now, I think is a little bit of a liberty. I think they should look at people like Run Through, who are doing an amazing job, right? Who are giving you options in terms of, like, someone said about this the other day about like Ryanair. So you pay for like your ticket, and then if you want a t-shirt, add your t-shirt in. If you want to pay for a pair of socks, you can scale what you're getting. I think to me that makes a lot more sense, and it gives a different entry point, because a lot of people have got into running over COVID and lockdown, right? And maybe they're looking to do their first event. I know we've got Park Run, right? We've all got Park Run, which is which is free, and it's 5K, and that's awesome. But maybe someone's gone through Couch to 5K and they're looking to step up to do an event, and they see a ticket price of 45 quid and they're going, oh, tight, that's a bit strong. You've got to get there. Right? You've got transportation. And I'm not just saying for London, I'm saying because Cambridge is an absolute mickey take as well, what they're asking to run around Cambridge. Now, Cambridge is a nice town. It's lovely. But what they're asking you to run through Cambridge, to be honest with you, is daylight robbery. It's not like it's some like big like event like, you know, that's like, I don't know, everyone wants to do. Oxford, that's another Mickey take in terms of what they're charging. I think they need to bring it down, make the entry point lower, and say, right, guys, do a run through because they are just amazing, and say, right, it's going to cost you 25 quid, but you can have this, this, and this, and this, and you can then scale it up because then it opens it up to more people. That's what riles me, is the fact that you're taking it out of the hands of people who can't afford to do it. And why is that the case? I appreciate they've got costs. I appreciate that all the event organisers got absolutely annihilated during COVID, right? I totally understand that. And I feel for them. We do races and events. So I totally feel for the people, especially the smaller ones, like great companies like Active Training World and people like that, the race organizer, smaller companies like that who do a fantastic job. But they've kept their price points like affordable. So I'm sick and tired of seeing Limelight and all these other big races going, you know what, it's going to cost you 50 quid to do a half marathon. I just think it's a liberty.
You see, I put a message up on the group just to say to people, you know, what are folks paying for? So, and to be honest, there are regional half marathons that are, you know, 20, 25 quid, which, you know, I think it's £22 to do the Windsor Trail, 22 to do Bedford, 23 to do Stevenage. But then the big ones are expensive, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people, I mean, I've spoken to people at work who have sort of like gone down to catch a 5K route and then looking forward to things. And I'm saying, well, do you fancy doing a half marathon? Then they're like, well, yeah, when is the Great North Run? Because they think there's only one. You know, they don't realise that people like Run Through and ATW and people like that are doing all these great events where you can have a go and you can do this sort of stuff. You don't have to do it in the middle of London.
Yeah, I mean, Great Run's another company that, you know, take the mickey because they're doing these big events, but they're taking out the Brighton Marathon, 70 quid, Brighton Marathon. What's that all about? I mean, it just defies logic to me. How they're getting it? Well, I know they're getting away with it because we're all stupid enough to pay it, myself included, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, someone Rachel's 40 quid to run around a wildlife park. What's
5K.
What?
5K.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. At some point, right? Someone's got to turn around and say, enough is enough. I totally understand the big events, right? Maybe that's a ballot, and the only way you're ever going to get to do it like Royal Parks is you're going to have to cough up, remortgage to get your entry fee and do it, right? Maybe you go down a charity route and you're amazing and you raise some money for charity as well. And that's incredible, right? But A6 10K, Cambridge half marathon, Oxford half marathon, Great South Run, all these others, they need to look at themselves and they need to look at what Run Through's doing, what Active Training World, Race Organisers, and some of these smaller guys who are out there doing it, and they're doing it absolutely right. And they are getting more runners together because they're appealing to everyday runners. And it's just, I'm just so annoyed about it.
I think the trouble is that it's it snowballs because like the Great North Run will say, oh, well, we're the biggest half marathon in the world. Everybody wants to do ours, so we'll charge more. And then the Liverpool Rock Up and Run will say, oh, well, we can be as big as the Great North Run, and then we'll do that. And then it just comes down and down and down and down, and everybody's charging premium rates. I mean, I got fleeced by the Royal Parks really because I entered last year. Obviously, it was called off, and they said, well, you can do it virtually. Or you can have a place in October, and it's sort of like, well, it's a week before I'm doing the Yorkshire Marathon. I'm not going to do that, but I couldn't get my money back. I had to run around my own way.
Yeah,
to get a T-shirt and a wooden medal.
To put the medal aside because I understand all that. It's disappointing, right? I know I've ranted and raved about it, and I'm not saying I'm right on this. It's just one of those things. You want to do certain events and you'll pay up occasionally, but when they're constantly coming at you with this money and it's just getting worse and worse and worse, I just think at some point you always think, come on, guys, you're now starting to take the mickey. I say put landmarks to one side because because of the, because that is all about Tommy's and the raising. I mean, what was the big half, Paul? You got any idea what that was?
Big half was, I can't remember what it was now.
Someone said it was
about
39 quid.
Yeah, it's about 40, isn't it?
I mean, that ain't, that's livable to a degree. It's a London Marathon event. You're running part of the course, running around London. I'm not saying London's the be all and end all, by the way, people, because I'm not that saying at all.
You do get to go over Tower Bridge for that as well, which is
you do get to go over Tower Bridge.
You get
some of the buzz of London Marathon if you're ever going to do that. I think 40 quid for that scale of event, 20 or 1,000 people. I think that's actually, reasonably priced. It's when you start creeping over that for, Oxford and Cambridge. And I'm not digging Oxford and Cambridge out because I've done all of the events there and they're lovely. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. But yeah, I think, like Chris just said, there's great local races out there in every area. It doesn't matter if you're up in Scotland and you're in Wales, Swansea half marathon. I was in Swansea the other week. Fantastic, and there's races all around the country that aren't taking the mickey.
I think that's the message, really, isn't it? That there are great little events, some quite big events that are on your doorstep where you can experience running a marathon, running a half marathon, and you can go out and do it. Paula, do you think it's a better idea to have sort of like top up Ryanair style entry fees?
Yeah, I do actually. I've got quite an epic collection of T-shirts. Doesn't quite rival my leggings collection, but it's not far off. But a lot of them don't even fit me. I'm not blessed with height, so many of these T-shirts that I get that I pay the premium for, I never get to wear because they don't fit. And probably a very unpopular decision. I've got certain medals I've got that I love. The rest are sat in a box. I look at them, I wear them when I cross the line for probably an hour, and then they sit in a box. So for some of these things, after a while, how many T-shirts and medals do you need? There's certain ones that I love and would never sacrifice on. But yeah, I think having a top-up style, especially for some of these events, you go because you want to run with friends, you want to go and have a laugh. Not really fussed about all the other bits that go with it. But what I would say, a lot of the local events, I know one local to me, Sublime Racing, which put on amazing events. They do sort of Peterborough Marathon, 10Ks and everything else. If you volunteer for them, they're one of the companies you get a free race entry for. So it's definitely also, if money is something that you need to look at what volunteering options there are with these companies, and quite often you can get a free place, especially with the local ones, so you kind of get the best of both worlds as well then.
Yeah, Kate Nicklin, she wrote that on the Facebook, saying that the benefit of volunteering is that you can get future entry for races costing £50 or more. Some of the ASICS runners this year were using their volunteer places from 2019. So if it does seem a bit steep and you are desperate to do it, if you think a bit more long term, then there are options.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely right. I'm with Paul on some of that. The run through races. I mean, I pay the money basically to eat the flapjacks. I would happily sack the medal off for a double flapjack. Just put a flapjack round my neck. All right, it won't last very long, but I go like Paul. I go to 99% of the races, unless I'm there filming like this weekend and stuff. But I will go 9 times out of 10 just to go and meet you guys. I mean, that's the only reason I go. I don't give a monkeys about the time or what I'm doing, the medal, the T-shirt. I couldn't give two hoots. I'm just going to meet up with you lot. That's
definitely the thing I'm most looking forward to, is seeing people this week.
Maybe that's what they should do. They should put on the options. You should have race entry, 10 quid. Then you have £5 T-shirt, £5 medal, £25 meter FORDY. How's that?
Yeah.
I think everybody would do that, wouldn't they?
Absolutely. Be brilliant.
Right.
So, well, I don't know where Al's gone, so it looks like it's going to fall upon me to do the lightning round this week.
Oh, Paul, are you nervous about this?
I am a little bit, actually, yeah. I don't know why, but...
It'll be fine. Honestly.
It's a good job I wrote the questions down from last week, isn't it? Because
you wait until you see the graphics that we've got. They're unbelievable.
Has it changed?
No, they took all of, I reckon, a minute to create? Maybe.
It was a minute to create and then 11 minutes to spell it right, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Actually, the first time we had it, this is how good we are. We actually, when I say we, had spelt lightning wrong.
Yeah, he said it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Look at this. Look at this. 2 minutes before he showed it to me, I said, "There's no E in lightning, mate."
As always, ambitious but rubbish. Right, roll the titles, boys. Roll them.
Oh, it's just me. Oh no, here she is. Great. Okay, Paula. So there's 9 questions. So we'll start with the first one, which is your bucket list race.
Probably never ever going to happen. Love to run Boston Marathon. Love Boston as a place to visit, and crossed the start line whilst I was there. Wasn't a runner at the time, but was intrigued. But yeah, not really sure I'm ever going to get there, but would love to run Boston.
So you always get training and get that time. You never know, do you?
Never know.
Pre-race breakfast.
Porridge. Normally
Coffee,
en route on a train. Yeah, one of the ready-made pot ones.
Favorite distance.
Love 10 miles.
Oh.
Yeah, I do like a 10-mile race.
So where would you do? Where you done 10 miles?
Buntingford 10, Stort 10.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, both brilliant events. It's not common. Fen 10, not common distance to find, but do love a 10 miler.
I think we'll be a few months until we find someone else whose favourite distance is 10 miles. So that's great. Nike or Adidas?
I'm a Brooks girl. I've got a big collection because I like pretty trainers. I actually haven't got any Adidas though. So of the two, I'd have to go Nike. I've got a few pairs of Nike, but I keep coming back to my Brooks Ghost.
Yeah, me too. Favourite brand of running shorts?
I do love my Ron Hill marathoner shorts, but I've got a pretty epic collection of Tikis as well. So depending on the mood.
Coke or Pepsi?
Don't drink fizzy drinks.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
You and Cristiano Ronaldo, that's very good. So what would you have as an alternative? What's it, sort of like fuel in your runs and things like that? What would you like to drink?
Do drink way too much coffee. But for runs and stuff, I just use my electrolytes and things. But yeah, I'm a squash girl, very weak squash, very unexciting.
Summer or winter training?
Oh, summer. I hate the cold. I am always cold. So I'd actually rather train in the summer.
Road or trail?
I love both actually. I've done both. So depending on the mood. But yeah, happy on.
Because you've done an ultra, haven't you?
Yeah, I did a trail ultra, yeah.
Where was that?
I did Stort 30. So along the River Stort. It was one of the few events that took place during COVID. It was very bizarre at that point. And in true style, it was very, very wet and very muddy. And I spent most of my time trying not to fall in the river. Yeah,
us in Hertfordshire, we tend to get a bit of wet weather there. And your one song playlist?
Oh, I don't know, actually. That's a really tough one. I don't know what I could listen to continuously.
Do you listen to music when you're out running, or do you podcasts, or do you not bother?
For long runs, I tend to listen to podcasts. I find
like us, obviously.
Obviously. No, I do. I prefer, especially on long runs, running to podcasts. I find with music, I speed up and slow down based on the track, and then that just plays havoc with my training. Whereas, so yeah, I used to always listen to the FORDY Runs playlist, but yeah, it's because that actually keeps it at quite an even tempo. But yeah, more a podcast runner.
And finally, when you're volunteering, do you prefer giving out medals or doing a water station?
Medals. Definitely prefer being at the end.
That's great. Thanks very much.
Amazing. Well done.
Well, that went pretty well, didn't it?
Can breathe again now.
I think actually a couple of things I picked up on there. One, 10 miles, good shout. Good race, a 10 miler. That is a good shout. And the other thing is as well, the fact that she gave an amazing plug for the FORDY Runs playlist on Spotify. Well done, Paul.
It is an epic playlist.
Which is free. And
It is.
available on Spotify for anybody.
The whole thing. If you could run for 2 days to it, couldn't you?
Oh,
It's about 48 hours long.
It's huge.
There is some random stuff on there, people.
There is some really, but things that you go, oh my gosh, what a tune! I haven't heard that in ages.
There is some proper. I was buzzing along the other day, and there was some like, some real random country on there. It was like Garth Brooks or something. It was. I mean, I ain't got nothing against Garth Brooks. I don't mind a bit of the Thunder Rolls and all that occasionally, but I mean, that was hardcore. So so well done, everybody. Check out, good plug. Check out the Spotify playlist.
Yeah, while you're on Spotify, you're downloading the Long Run podcast.
Natch. Good.
Download the list to good thing. Well, so somebody says Adam says he'll pay £100 to meet FORDY.
It'd be the worst money you've ever spent.
Spend it elsewhere.
Can you believe it, mate?
Look, listen to Toby, right? And by the way, we've got a belter of a video coming up with Toby in a couple of weeks, where he's got these soppy water bottles in a hydration vest. I don't know where right. Hold tight. For the podcasters, I'm getting up my hydration. So Toby and I did a long run the other day, right? And he turned up, and I've got my EG not paid vest on screen for people.
Everybody can picture this because they've all got one.
You've got these water bottle things that you can put in these pockets. Again, I'm doing this for the purpose of the podcast where you can put your water bottles in. Now, most normal people, right, and I don't count myself in that bracket, but most normal people, so basically Ian and Paula, would put like a normal size bottle in there. You go to do your long run, job done. I turned up the other day, a matey boy rocked up. He's like a cow with two udders. He's got these, they're like water cannons coming out. And all I did was get wet for 16 miles. They're spraying me all over the place. They're like just flopping around. You watch the video and tell me whether you'd put up with that. I could have killed him at the end.
Can I just bring a point out, though? Is that who refilled whose bottles because they had extra water?
Have you got evidence of this?
Was it on camera?
No, I got edited out.
Yeah, typical, isn't it? Evidence just appeared.
Always got edit out. You know, we edit anything out like you did the other week, but we could put in. But yeah, he was driving me nuts, absolutely nuts the other day. And then he started telling me all about how the water's sitting nicely on his. Honestly, so yeah, I'll meet you for free. You don't need to pay. Honestly, it'd be the biggest letdown of your life.
They say never meet your heroes.
Yeah, I'm not one of those. Trust me. But you never know. Good up for Amanda and Jenny at the weekend. You know, they're getting it. They're getting it for nothing. They're gonna love it. They're gonna love it. Me and the Peps. They're gonna love it. Aren't they?
What you like around famous people? Then do you
hate it?
Yeah,
yeah. Because you turn up and then you're sitting there. They're all looking, going, "Who's that geezer? What's that all about? Why is he all dressed in pink?" And you're sitting there. You haven't got no convo with them because most of them, I would say. And I don't know any of them, so this is totally unfair. Most of them on those sort of days have got, people who are blowing smoke up there, So they're a little bit, they're not themselves. They're not in a comfortable zone, so they're not acting like themselves. So they're all obviously a little bit prickly as well. And it's just, I don't know, you get some of these celebrities who are just nice people, just genuine people. Mm. And then you always get a couple of, and I just hate it. I generally, honestly hate that, and I feel anxious and I feel uncomfortable around all that. I'd much rather be with my people. Keep it real. I'm a man of the people. You know what I mean? I'd much rather be at the back shouting "Oi, oi, FORDY runner" and all that sort of stuff. That's just me.
So you're in wave 1, I'm in wave 5. I'm with Petra in her dog suit.
Yeah. Oh, Petra. I really hope for Petra it's not hot.
I'll tell you what, it's been the rain. I've been in London today. The rain's been banging against the windows. So I think it's going to be all right, though. As far as August the 1st could be, if you're going to run in a dog suit, I don't think it's going to be too bad.
But here's a question, right? Random question of the cast. Oh, by the way, big love to John Purchase Sharp, who's giving us a super chat. But if her suit gets wet, I'm guessing it's going to get heavier. Right?
Well, she was saying this when we was she came out. I was talking about it when she came to Harvard the other week, and she said, "Oh yeah, people have said to me, oh God, well, it might rain. And she's like, I don't want it to rain. It's just going to get even worse. It's going to be hanging on my head.
What's worse, the heat or the rain adding weight to it? I don't know. I tell you what, we need to get Colin Big Pink Dress on here, because, that thing that he walks around in London weighs, God, only a couple of stone, I think he was telling me. But again, if that gets wet, I remember seeing Colin when we did that London Marathon. It was like running along the surface of the sun. I don't know how he did that. I mean, he's my hero anyway. But then to do that as well, he's even more of a legend. But so I'm worried for Petra, because if it rains, is it going to be worse? I don't know. And does she like what sort of treats does she like? What do you give a dog dressed someone dog? Is it Haribo or is it dog biscuits? That's the other thing you need to think about, right? At the end,
it's a carb loading, is it? If you have dog biscuits.
When John Grigg gives her a medal, should he also give her some dog biscuits and a bowl of water
and a pat on the head?
Yeah, and rub her belly. Don't rub her belly, John. Don't rub her belly. She'll kick you.
It's going to be a great occasion. I'm really looking forward to it.
I can't wait to see everybody. I think it's going to be epic. I'm so pumped. Look, Alan's back. Should
we give him one last go?
Come on,
Can we start again?
Hey! All right, mate.
Alan's made it to the long run.
Is it any good?
Ow.
I have to listen back.
It's 7 o'clock British summertime, not Greenwich Mean Time, mate. Sorry.
I told you I was in a different time zone. That's what it was.
Is it mealtime at the home?
No. I turned the Wi-Fi off at 8.
Yeah, he's got to get back to the Beetle Drive.
Oh, isn't it nice to have him?
Oh, it's like,
the same without you.
It's 2 weeks now, Al. You're going to have to come back big next week. So you're volunteering, are you, on Sunday?
Yeah, I'll be at the finish line. Yeah, looking out for all the FORDYs.
Oh, looking forward to seeing you, mate. Oh, it's going to be great.
I can't wait. I'm going to give him the biggest hug of his life when I get through there.
Well, I'm recovering from injury. Stab wound.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's okay. We got two. I'll finish that, and then we've got to get you a question. But basically, Alan, we was doing the kids in the week, and we gave the kids the javelins, but and we had young Sam, right? And young Sam rocked up with his javelin, but it's one of the Paulie, you'll know from the athletics clubs, the junior javelins, right? So it's not got the sharp end, but it's got like a hard sort of plastic end on it. And Alan, most of the other kids are just throwing it, and they're having a great time throwing it. And then Sam steps up, and he's probably about, I don't know, half my size, and he pulls this javelin back, and he just launches it. And Al was standing so close that it just went bang in his stomach.
Oh.
I've got to review the risk assessment.
It sounds like something out of Game of Thrones or something.
Oh, it was so good. And Sam's face went like, I can't show on the podcast, but basically thought he killed Alan.
I need time to recover.
Oh, quality, absolute quality. Right, so we've got a couple of questions. Look, here we go. Hi, on a marathon, would you recommend setting your units to miles or kilometers? Okay, let's go round the room first. Paula, miles or km?
Miles.
Tobe?
Miles.
Ian?
I usually do km, but I'm going to switch to miles for Saturday, Sunday. Okay.
Alan uses an abacus, so that's
KMs
okay.
because they go quicker.
Yeah. Now, me personally, now this is going to throw you proper out. I use km, but I run with Toby, who uses miles. So I'm actually, technically, I'm using both. It's kind of cheating. I like kilometers because I like to stay on top of my pace. So I get a quicker reading. Because what I tend to find with a mile, and Toby, you would actually back me up here, I tend to drift in terms of my pace. He'll go slow down or speed up because I get out of kilter. With a kilometre, I find I can keep an even pace better. Is that true, Toby?
Yeah, I think we quite enjoy it running together with you on the kilometres and me on miles. Between us, we've always got both of them to look at, and we're always shouting at each other, really.
It does kind of help. So
I definitely think it helps. Like if you're trying to manage your splits and things like that, to do kilometers rather than miles, because you get a much better indication if you're doing your kilometer splits, say on a 5K race, and then rather than you're only going to get 3 if you do miles. So I just think that helps. But I'll probably go for miles on Sunday.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think everybody's got their own opinion. I think it's whatever works for you. But me personally, yeah, I think KM works for me personally to keep my pacing in check. And that's really because, well, that's if I'm running to pace. A lot of the time I run into heart rate. So that kind of throws it out anyway. So then it doesn't really matter too much anyway. So hopefully that answers that. Have we got any... Oh, hang on. This is a good question from Chris Grantham. Have you seen this, Tobe? Throw that one up. I've just seen that at the bottom of the feed. Have you seen this one, Tobe? Or did you miss it? One last question, because this is probably our last question, because I know Paula's got to get going because she's got to go and get packed. All those golden tick. Are we allowed to talk about it? One last question. Who decides the routes with you and Toby on your long runs? Now, the reason I picked up on this is, Chris, I'm going to let you in a little secret. Basically, from today onwards, we argue about it for the whole week. So we'll do a long run. And then between now and the next one, we'll argue about what pace we're running, what distance we're running, and what route we're running. And then Toby usually wins the route, and I usually win the pace for about the first kilometre. Is that fair, Toby?
Yeah, I normally win the distance.
Yeah, and he actually basically wins all of it, because what tends to happen is I start filming, and I could be anywhere. I could be running circles around my house. I wouldn't know any different, because I'm talking nonsense to the camera. I'm taking the mickey out of him, and I'm trying not to get run over or hit by a dog or attacked by a dog. Another story. So I would say actually it's Toby. I hope that answers Chris's question. But Chris, if you've got a marathon route, send it through to Toby, because he'll probably take it apart, because every route I decide to do, he says, no, we can't do that.
You won't go up any hills, though.
Yeah, that is true. I do moan. That's why whoever said about paying £100, honestly, it's really not worth it, because all I do is moan.
Well, I suppose, we've ticked over an hour, so I suppose we ought to wind up.
Spotify charges more.
Yeah, that's it now. Yeah, we'll have to get our begging bowls out when we see everybody on Sunday.
I'm just glad Alan joined us.
Yeah, it was great to see. First of all, thanks very much for Paula for joining us. That was great.
Oh, thank you for having me. Loved it.
Absolutely, it was great.
Actually, big love to all the volunteers this Sunday, and for every race and event that they've ever done or they're going to do for us. Thank you to all the volunteers.
And we have Big Half coming up, so anybody wants to volunteer, Big Half, who hasn't put the name down, send me a message.
Yeah, look out for the messages and get involved, people, because it's a great thing to do, and we love you all. We can't wait to see you on Sunday. So that's your lot. We're back next week.
Hey, I've got one more thing.
Go on.
I just want to shout out to anybody doing Bushy Park Run this weekend. Make sure you don't lick or nick your barcodes, because Mel will be on your code.
Don't lick it and don't nick it. I'm probably making my debut at Bexley actually tomorrow.
Okay. Enjoy park run.
Yeah, enjoy your park run. Looking forward to seeing everybody on Sunday. Look out for I think there's a few wave meetups that are hovering around, so keep your eye out for your particular wave if you want to meet a few people. I think there's drinks going on Saturday night as well. So if you want to meet a few people,
don't forget to email us.
And yes, email. What's it? Oh, great. Tobe's put the address up there. longrunshow@gmail.com. So that's open all the time. Just bung us a message and then we'll pick them up, and then we can talk about that next Friday when we're back at 7:00. So we'll be live on YouTube, but also you can download us on a podcast and get us at all the usual places like Apple and Spotify and Google and wherever you get your podcasts ready. So you'll be able to download us. And if we don't see you on Sunday, we'll be back next week. So stay in touch, send us your questions, and we look forward to seeing you all next week. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good weekend.